Hello everyone and welcome back to Animation Pilgrimage, where we watch every theatrically released animated film in order. I'm Sean.
And I'm Tennille.
And today we are talking about Japan's second ever animated film and their
first in Technicolor.
Yes, their first in Technicolor, also their first after the World War II. This is their first movie that's not propaganda. It's a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
But the film itself is The Tale of the White Serpent, or it's also known as Panda and the Magic Serpent.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to go with the direct translation of the Japanese name, it is Hakujaden, or I'm not sure where the emphasis goes in that name, so I'm not even going to attempt.
Yeah, but Hakujaden.
Yeah, that is the name of the film.
Yeah. So, what'd you think?
I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Mm-hmm.
The animation's all over the place.
Hey, kids. Do you know what limited animation means?
I mean, that's exactly what this is. This is limited animation, and it's this, like, you can kind of already see the start of Japan's technique of the money shot. Is that what they call it in Japan?
I'm not sure what they call it, but it's, you have one major shot and then a couple of blur frames or something, and then the next money shot. There's no full through.
Yeah, let me break that down a little bit. So essentially what that means is similar to limited animation. You have scenes where the animators are just trying to get by doing
the absolute minimum.
Yeah, as little as possible to make the animation work. And then when they get to a scene that they really want to develop, they really want to have a lot of special effects or just like show off their animation prowess, those would be the money shots where they pour in a lot of frames and a lot of talent and a lot of extra time and work.
It looks super polished.
Yeah.
But everything else is just really fast and jumpy, and it's fine, but it's nowhere near the quality of those specific shots.
Right. And in this movie, like I said, you can see that idea is already starting to form, but they haven't quite perfected where they should use it and where they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because, like, sometimes there's some limited stuff in here where it's like, oh, you really should have
fleshed that out a little bit more.
A little bit more. Or, you know, other things where it's like, okay, you actually probably could have done a little less here.
Mm-hmm. And I guess one thing to note is this limited animation for the money shots is something that is going to become super obvious and most heavily used in TV shows,
yeah,
compared to the movies. So when we're watching the movies, we're not going to be seeing as much of that. That they generally do a lot more effort on everything when it comes to theatrically released films, which just kind of makes more sense because they probably have a bigger budget.
Right.
And that's the biggest reason that this happens is budget.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, limited animation has essentially become something. It's essentially like one of the 12 principles of animation when you're doing a TV show. Like, if you're doing a TV show,
learn where to cut corners.
Yeah, you better know how to do this stuff and how to do it well. So I feel like this is the first time we can really talk about that.
Yeah, because it's the first time that it's really shown up in a
film,
relatively modern film where this kind of idea is going to start becoming a thing.
Yeah. But like I was saying a little bit ago, the animation's all over the place. Sometimes you've got really cute stuff. They do a good job, but then other times the animation's really floaty, or it's like, you didn't exactly convey what you're trying to convey.
Another thing that is pretty obvious in this film is they hadn't figured out lip sync yet. So more often than not, they didn't even bother moving the mouths.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Where characters are saying things, but they're not even moving their mouth, and they're showing their mouth. So it's not like, oh, someone off screen is talking, or they're turned away or something. No, they're just there, and they're talking, but no one's moving. They're just, like, grinning stupidly or something.
Yeah, and to be clear, we watched the sub of this, so we did watch it in its original language. I just feel like we should reiterate that we tend to watch subs.
Yes, even in the original language, they were cutting those corners. It's
Yeah.
not just like it was brought to America and then they just dubbed over whatever they wanted to.
Right.
Because that will happen a lot. Mm-hmm. We generally will try to watch the original language version so that we get the original intent of the original creator, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. We talked about this
We've talked about this plenty of times.
Actually, I think we just talked about it on the last episode on the Snow Queen.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But either way.
So, do you want to talk about the plot?
Yeah, I'll give a plot synopsis for this film. Mm-hmm. So, we start the film with actually a papercraft segment that's giving some backstory, actually.
I was really excited when this film opened and it started with that. I was like, yes! Oh, it's already so artsy.
And then once the actual movie starts proper, that's dropped.
Yeah, it kind of went downhill from there. But, I mean, the start and seeing, like, this papercraft thing, especially since we're doing Animation Pilgrimage, I'm like, yo, this takes me back to when I was watching Prince Ahmed. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm so happy. Like, look at it.
So cool.
Yeah.
But either way, it tells the story of this little boy who bought a white snake from a vendor, and he's like, it's so cute, and I love it, and stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, you, gross, it's a snake, get rid of it. So he has to get rid of it, and he's so sad. Years later, the snake gets struck by lightning or something, and she turns into a spirit.
Yeah.
She's a snake spirit woman now. And so she goes to find her old master, owner, I don't know. The
boy.
The boy who is
we'll
now
call him the boy.
The boy who is now grown up, and he has a panda and a red panda pet things. Yeah, animal companions.
Sidekicks,
yes, that's a good term for it. And I guess the white serpent lady also has a sidekick. She has a fish spirit little girl with her.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I should point out is that this is actually, while it's from Japan, this story is set in China.
Yes.
This is important to note.
Yeah, and it's I'll just say this right here, it's a Chinese folktale.
Okay. All right.
I mean, you probably guessed.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, so I'm not even going to attempt to try to pronounce anyone's names because I do not know pronunciation for Chinese.
Yeah.
Full stop. I don't.
If they were Japanese names, we could probably, hash it out. But
hash it out and get relatively close. But I'm not even going to try here.
Yeah. Okay. No. You know what? I'll try. I've got the cast of characters right here. We have.
Okay.
Shushan. Banyan.
That Banyan?
Banyan is the snake girl.
Okay.
And Shushan
is the
boy.
The main boy character.
Xiao King.
Now I am trying these names out.
Because I think the X is a shra sound.
Something like that.
Oh dear.
Then we got Panda.
But Xiao Qing is the fish girl, right?
Oh, I think so. Yes, I believe so.
And then Panda, Mimi.
Mimi is the red panda.
Yeah. Fahai.
Fahai is.
Fahai.
Is that the
priest?
The priest man. I'm not sure. Then there's also Duck, Weasel, Dragon King, Catfish King, and Narrator.
Yeah. Anyways,
none of this really matters. So, long story short,
there's a priest, and the girl wants to get together with the boy, but the priest is like...
But the priest is like, he fights evil spirits and stuff.
And he's
like a Buddhist monk of some sort or something like that.
He says that he's seen so many men get killed by evil spirits. He thinks
who pretend to be women.
Yeah, he thinks that the snake lady is trying to kill the boy.
And stuff. So he's like, I see what's going on. I've got to stop this. in the meantime, the two main characters, the snake spirit and the boy, are just happily in love and totally okay, and nothing wrong is going on. And then the priest is like, we gotta jail you and get rid of the... It's like, we're throwing you in jail because there's some dumb thing where they get accused of stealing something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Either way, he gets exiled from this town and he's sent far away, and the snake spirit lady, she disappears for the time. She goes away. Either way, then we get a whole segment of the main character being forlorn and sad while there's a festival going on in this other town, and he's like working. He's a musician normally, but now he's like having to work like pulling boats and stuff, and
because he gets exiled from his town.
Yeah, so now he's just working with like the dregs of society. That's what they are.
Yeah.
And then he's still like having dreams and stuff about the snake snake spirit, and the others think he's possessed and stuff, so he gets kicked out of that job.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the panda and Mimi are trying to find him in this town, and there's like evil animals in the town that they're like stealing stuff from the humans. So there's like a couple of pigs and an evil duck and was it a weasel? Yeah, a weasel.
I think this is a good time to pause, and how about you share your experience with this movie?
Okay. So, even though we're in the middle of the story synopsis here, I just want to point out, as we're watching this film, I'm like, you know, I recognize this panda and Mimi, I think. I don't know why, but they just seem familiar. And we just keep going, and then we get to the part where we see these other animals, and I'm just like, oh my god, I have seen this film before. Flashbacks to when I was on an airplane, either to or from China. Because my family has adopted a few kids from China. So I have actually 4 Chinese siblings.
Yeah.
Which is sweet. But it was on one of the first...
But still don't know how to say Chinese names.
No,
tisk, tisk.
no, I'm terrible. I know how to pronounce their Chinese names, but they don't go by those anymore, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Either way, so on the airplane to or from China, this was one of the in-flight movies. And it was in Chinese. Either that or it was in the original Japanese. I was too young to know the difference.
Right.
And if it was in the original Japanese, it probably had Chinese subtitles on it. So it was completely useless for me.
Yeah.
But I remember watching this because there's like nothing else to watch. There's nothing in English. Of course there wasn't.
Well, yeah, but I mean, tell about the part that like stuck out to you, and you're like, wait, I know what this is. I swear there's gonna be this moment in the film, and then a few minutes later it happens.
So we were sitting there and we just saw like the weasel and evil duck, and the like one of these big burly pigs, and I was like, oh, the panda's gonna come out and they're gonna have a fist fight, and the panda's going to beat the ever-loving crap out of all of these guys. And lo and behold, later it happens. Confirming that I had, in fact, seen this movie before. Which is just crazy, because it's one of those old films. It's like, I have no idea what this is, and then I forgot about it for years.
Right. And then you just happen to see it again now.
Man, that would have been over 10 years ago at this point. Like, probably closer to 15 years ago.
Probably. But yeah, that's just interesting.
Just an interesting anecdote. Either way, so all of this is going on.
The panda beats the crap out of all the other evil animals.
And becomes the king of the thieves or whatever. And he's charging them to try to find the guy so that they can meet up again because they want to get back with their bro. Meantime, the guy has had a vision that has shown him where the snake spirit is living, which is like an old abandoned pagoda out in the middle of nowhere. So he goes to it, or not, yeah, pagoda. He goes to it Unfortunately, in the meantime, the priest monk has also found out where it is, and he has a spectacular, crazy fight with the spirit as they float through a black void, and he's like sending magic at her, but there's no like on-screen like showing of like beams of light or anything, so it just kind of like flashes, and his ball is doing things. She's like,
Yeah.
and she's like floating around going ee, and it's like nothing really happens.
It's like,
and I'm gonna let you know, when you have no context for what's going on in the film already, this scene makes no sense as a kid. You're just like,
but she just looks like a normal lady.
You're just like, what is going on? Now they're just flying around having a magic fight.
Yeah.
Either way, he seals her into her snake form and is like,
Essentially kills her.
kind of stops her from being the humanoid spirit again.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't let the guy see me like this, so I'm going to lead him with a spirit version of, or like a ghostly version of myself, off a cliff for some reason. And so he dies.
Yeah.
The main character is really dumb.
Well, okay, what I don't understand was she trying to kill him there, or did she just accidentally lead him off a cliff?
I think she didn't expect him to run off the cliff like an idiot. I think it's more so she was trying to show herself leaving him forever and don't follow me type of thing by going to places that he can't follow. But he was an idiot in love and just ran right off the cliff and died.
Yeah.
So she feels really bad about this, obviously. The monk...
Oopsie.
So she flies off into space. Actual literal space.
Yeah.
To find, like, goes to the sun or Mars or somewhere. A red star way off in the distance, which is actually the kingdom of the Dragon King spirit.
She collects all the Dragon Balls so that she can make a wish.
Hey. Either way, she's like, I love this guy, and I want to become a human so I can be in love and stuff. And he's like, cool, okay. Your wish is granted and stuff, and here, take this flower that will bring him back to life and stuff.
Yeah, but she essentially sacrifices her self as
immortality.
A spirit.
Yeah, her spirit immortality to become a human just to live with him. In the meantime, the monk priest has found the body of the guy. He's like, oh, this poor man, he was killed by the spirit. I was too late. This is terrible. I'll go bury him in my monastery?
Sanctuary?
What is the shrine? I think shrine is the correct term.
Probably. We'll go with that. Shrine.
He said it, but whatever. He takes him, his holy place, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So he takes him back. Temple. There we go. That's the right word. He takes him to his temple, which is on a secluded island.
How convenient.
Yeah, incredibly convenient. So the snake spirit, who is now just a human, along with the fish spirit, who is still a fish spirit, they get on a boat and they're going out there, and they have Panda and Mimi with them, and like a pig or something. Or no, Panda and Mimi actually found their way out to this island to find where the guy was, the dead guy was to begin with. And either way, they're all meeting up there, and there's a climactic battle where the priest is like, no, you're still evil and still after him, so I'm going to sink your boat.
And, like, they're obviously being like, no, it's a miscommunication. We're trying to save him, too.
And the guy's like, no, he's dead. Leave him alone already.
Yeah.
So the fish spirit is like, all right, this is obviously not working. I'm going to go find the great catfish king.
Yeah.
Who is ginormous and terrifying looking.
Yeah, he came on screen and we're both just like,
yeah.
Nope.
But he's
because
like,
we have catfish. I mean, I don't know what people know about catfish, but catfish are kind of terrifying. We live in the Midwest, and we can get catfish that, like, have been known to, like, bite people's arms off.
And I know there are places where catfish can get big enough to, I don't know, swallow a human whole.
Yeah.
So that's not fun.
No.
And obviously this is also true in Japan and China and stuff. Catfish are large and scary fish, and I do not like them.
No. Anyway.
Either way, the Catfish King is like, I'm going to create a gigantic storm to solve this problem of getting to the island. And we just kind of go, wait, what? Mm-hmm. Either way, he creates a giant storm. They get the flower, or Panda and Mimi get the flower to the guy, bring him back to life. And then the monk is like, oh, you were just trying to save him. We're all on the same side. Stop attacking me and stuff. And then they have to save the snake serpent, who is currently drowning.
Yeah.
So the priest monk makes a boat, and in the
they
end,
all live happily
everyone lives happily ever after. And then the happy couple get on a boat and float off into the unknown to, for some reason, I don't know why.
Yeah.
They just kind of go off in the boat, and it's like, all right, are you guys going off to like the Grey Haven from the Lord of the Rings? Are you going into the...
Let's not think about it too much.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys going on to your next lives, or are you just going off to forget about anyone that was involved, including the best friends and stuff. Who knows?
I don't know.
But that's how the movie ends.
Yeah. It's fine. I mean, I enjoyed it for having to watch it for Animation Pilgrimage. It's like, okay, cool. This is cool to watch Japan's, first real, quote-unquote, animated film. And it's in color. They're telling, like, a fairy tale, which is something we've seen a lot of countries do. Like, it's nice. It has some cute moments.
It's a good start.
Yeah, it's a decent enough story. It definitely could have used some polish.
Yeah, it definitely could use some polish, and the art itself, not even getting into the animation, but some of like the character models and stuff like that, they get a little weird looking. Like, there's a lot of times where one of the like beautiful human characters, whether the guy or girl, will be looking off to the side and their eyes go like like they're not looking in the same direction and stuff like that.
No, but I would say like the art direction as a whole, like the idea, the concept of it, it's like that's nice. But it definitely falls short.
Yeah. It was enjoyable, and like the nostalgia factor of this was
definitely made it
shocking
enjoyable.
And like great to like remember that this existed type of thing.
Like, I've experienced this before.
Man, it's like just then thinking of like other things I saw on that, like on the plane to or from China. It's like, man, was that an actual movie or was that just like a random TV show? Are we gonna see that at some point? Because it's like I remember seeing some like old Monkey King TV show or something.
Well, I mean, we're gonna see a lot of that.
Oh yeah, it's just like, I don't know, was that an actual just TV show or was it a movie that we'll definitely be covering here on Animation Pilgrimage? I just don't know.
Yeah, so I really only have a couple of things as far as like the history of this film. This is Toei, right? Toei Animation Studios' first film.
Not surprising.
And the director, or president, no, I think it's the president of the company. One second. Hiroshi Okawa. He was the one who wanted to make the film based on like a Chinese folklore to try to help bring like a neighborly
camaraderie, like, hey, we're friends now.
We're friends now, right? Yeah, to
it's
try to
okay.
help like build up relation again between Japan and China.
Yeah, because I mean, the last time they really interacted was, the war.
Yeah.
So, that wasn't great.
But I mean, it's cool to see that from my research, it seems that decision came from the director of the studio and not from like the government or anything else like that.
Yeah.
Because we've watched Animal Farm and we've watched Momotaro's Divine Sea Warriors, where
it was
those
very
kinds
much
of
so
decisions were pushed
by the government.
Yeah.
Even if it was the government of a different country you didn't know about.
Exactly. So I thought it was cool to see that came from the head of the studio rather than an outside force.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. And then another thing to mention is Rintaro, who would later become a well-known and respected...
Rintaro?
Rintaro.
Rintaro.
Who later goes on to become a great director in Japanese animation. We're going to see a lot of his work. Worked on this film when he was 17 as an in-betweener.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure being an in-betweener on this film was pretty easy.
Oh, snap!
Sick burn.
Aw.
But no, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So people just getting their starts here and stuff. Yeah. I don't have much else to say about this one. Is it one I'd recommend?
Maybe. If you're heavily invested in Japanese animation.
Yeah, especially, if you're interested in the history of Japanese animation, definitely give this one a watch. It's more enjoyable than Momotaro's Divine Sea Warriors, I'll tell you that.
That's true, yes. Other than that, I think that's about it.
That's it, yeah. So, next time, we go back to the USSR.
Of course.
Of course. We've got Beloved Beauty to see. And I have zero expectations for that one. I've never heard of it. I haven't even looked up the poster for it yet, so I don't even know what art style they're using, which...
You'll be seeing right now, because we put the poster on screen.
At this point, Russia's actually branched out in their art direction a little bit, so I don't know what we'll see.
It could be anything.
It could be anything.
Even a boat. Honestly, this is just a little bit more speculation here, but just hearing the name Beloved Beauty, it almost makes me think it might be some sort of Sleeping Beauty.
Which would be really ironic, considering...
Because the next film after that is also Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
But either way, join us back here next week as we watch Beloved Beauty and find out what it's all about.
Bye-bye.
していました。